Hi, I'm Mike, and this is an intro. Alright, what we got here is Soul Conduit, the 6-drop artifact that says, pay 6 colorless, tap. 2 target players exchange life totals. Alright, from just a flavor perspective, this is funny. And from an actual versatility perspective, it's actually amazing. Now, it's not a win condition in its own right, unless for some reason you could drop someone's life total to 0, and they don't die, and then you could switch it off with someone else who you can't really touch at the moment. But overall, that's not something you can rely on between other players. Unless you screw with your own life total, in which case, this is incredibly possible. And still incredibly funny, honestly. I love using this card whenever I can. The quickest and easiest way to drop your life total I think of is Volcano Hellion. It's a 4-drop, 2 colorless, and 2 red. It's out of a Time Spiral. I think it's the second shift, or the second block in the set. Plane Shift. I think I got that one right. No, that was Invasion. Planetary Chaos, that's it. Yeah, it's a 6/5, which isn't bad for 4 to start with. It's actually really good, just in the straight numbers game. But when it enters, it has an echo cost of X, where X is your life total. That's not so good, because it doesn't have haste. What makes this interesting, though, is when Volcano Hellion comes into play, it deals an amount of damage amount of damage of your choice to you and target creature. That damage can't be prevented. Normally, that makes this card terrible. I honestly would never use him in most decks because just taking out one creature probably isn't worth the damage, because there's also going to be the echo cost afterwards. So it's just not all that versatile, because there's other destroy spells. I don't need to burn my life to do it, especially in red, where damage is pretty easy to come by. I mean, Red Sun Zenith is a better choice because it just works better. I'm probably not going to be taking out anything too big, and if it is, I'll probably just go with a black spell or a white spell to take it out for low mana, high return. Unless I want to drop my own life exponentially, and also take out one of my opponent's creatures, which is, just a net plus. In this case, these two work out really well, where I just drop this in for 4, I reduce my life maybe to 1, switch it either this turn or the next. I mean, it's a 10 mana combo if this is already out. A little higher, it's I think a 16 if it's not. Now that's a little late game play either way, but it's a very good way to end the game, because after that, you just need to ping the other person to win. And since this is an ability, you can outrace other people who try and ping you in return. Unless they have 2 ping spells. But this late in the game, most of them will probably be used up. That said, it's not the best way. I personally prefer something that's more useful. Say, Murderous Betrayal. This one's a 3-drop. It's this particular version is out of the 8th I can't speak today. Core set, 8th edition. That's the first one where they had the new borders, and technically the beginning of Modern. But pay 2 black. Pay half your life rounded up. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated. Now, normally I don't like this card because, on the one hand, it lets me destroy a lot of things, but I will quickly mill through my life really fast, and since it's rounded up, this can kill me. But again, Soul Conduit relies on really low life on your side or someone's side, and again, this will take out threats, so I can basically do spot removal of all non-black creatures out there. Granted, there's a lot of black generals and black cards that are really scary, so it's a little less good, but this is still a nice way to take out something that you do not want to deal with and lower your life total, which will be a win condition with Soul Conduit. So useful, and the fact that you can just keep paying to Murderous Betrayal is nice, because even if you don't have Soul Conduit right away, it buys you time by taking out things that you don't want to deal with. I personally prefer an even better card, though. Ad Nauseam. 5-drop instant. This card is... I've seen so many decks built around it, and I enjoy them all. Unless I'm playing against them, in which case I hate them all. Reveal the top card of your library, and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. You may repeat this process any number of times. This churns out your life really fast, which isn't as bad in EDH because you start with 40. And, if you're playing anything with black or white, you're probably going to get lifelink in there, so you can actually go through a huge chunk of your deck before that's a threat. Unless you're playing a really high-cost deck and you've already milled your life off, in which case you're not going to get so much. The advantage to this one, though, is with Ad Nauseam, the big, draw is that you get a lot of draw. They're instantly to your hand, and it's at instant speed. So you can set this up right before your turn, drop your life to practically nothing. In the next turn, you probably can draw a Soul Conduit off it, because you'll get a lot of stuff, or any other card to set up a combo to win, Soul Conduit and maybe just a Lightning Bolt, or heck, even a Needle Drop if you get them low enough. Now, this card does come with a downside that you don't know what's coming up next, unless you have some kind of mechanic where your top card's revealed. I would actually recommend that just so you know what's coming. The downside is your opponents know what you have, but it's a trade-off. But again, it works well with Soul Conduit, because you could drop your life, switch it, and just ping the other person to kill them. It's a very fun way to win, if a little dickish. And by little, I mean massively. I mean terribly evil, not fun for anyone but you. But only if you do it a lot. The way that will get people to rage quit, though, and is frankly unfair and really fun to play. Well, Treasonous Ogre, this asshole, they printed one of the most insanely fun, good, and versatile cards I know out of Conspiracy. It's not even a main set, but it's valid in EDH. God, are they going to regret it for this card alone? Or at least anyone I play against does. It's a 4-drop, 2/3 with the Throne, which is whenever this creature attacks a player with the most life or tied for the most life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So even on its own, it gets bigger. It's not a huge drop, but it's something. It keeps it alive longer. It's a 4-drop, and with red, there's mana acceleration, so you can get that. And with artifacts, it's not so hard. I could easily see this being a turn 3 or turn 4 drop. 4 because it's a 4 cost, 3 because any artifacts. 2 if you're really lucky. It's like a Soul Ring first turn. I've seen it happen. Soul Ring, land, Signet, not in that order, of course. But yeah, this could be a turn 2 drop. The best part, though, is pay 3 life, add 1 red mana to your mana pool. No tap, so it can go straight into that. You're going to have mana right away. And since EDH starts with 4 times, immediately, right out of the gate, Treasonous Ogre can net you, I think it's, 13 mana? That means if this card is in your hand, and this is, say you have a perfect hand, you can get Treasonous Ogre turn 2. You're going to be tapped out. So you drop Treasonous Ogre. You use up everything. This will reduce you down to 1 life. You're going to have 12 mana. Sorry, 6 mana. 12 of it will immediately go into Soul Conduit to pay for it half, and then to pay it in, tap. You're going to switch life totals with someone else. And then you have 1 floating red mana still. At this point, you could gut shot someone and take them out. You can needle drop someone to take them out. You can do so many things. Heck, if you have a 0/0 that came in the first turn, you could kill someone with a Memnite at this point. It is technically possible to turn 2 kill someone with this. Now, that is still a God Hand type situation. But even then, Treasonous Ogre is... honestly, he enables things like this to be stupid and insane and broken. If someone knows what's coming up, they will stop you. They will counter you. But that's really hard turn 2. Especially if you went first, if you're lucky enough to get all that together. Now, that is not something you're probably going to ever get unless you're absurdly lucky. I'm not absurdly lucky, so I never get that, but it works. It is truly one of the most insane possibilities. Because these are not expensive cards. I mean, Treasonous Ogre, maybe 50 cents, maybe $1 if you go to the right places, or I guess wrong places. Soul Conduit's maybe $1 rare, and you can probably find it for cheaper if you look. But they work so incredibly well. And don't even get me started if you have life gain in there somewhere, because you can just use Treasonous Ogre more. He enables so much big stuff to happen so fast. Now, the downside is you have to pay your own life. The upside, you start with 40. That gives you a nice range. And Soul Conduit takes even that disadvantage and makes it the biggest advantage of all. Oh, and technically enables the Throne at the same time, but that's less important. Together, these 2 cards are truly just not even fun to play against, but incredibly versatile and useful. Because either one on their own can change the game. But together, they are a very, very deadly combo. Now, the downside to that is, of course, you can't do it again that very turn, so someone will probably try their best to kill you. And you can't do it exactly the same because, you probably won't have another kill spell in hand. But you can probably get through a couple players with this, because if you get early game, you're set. Now, late game, it changes a few things. Someone will know what you're doing, and they will try and destroy this card after they know what it can do. So be aware of that. You're not going to get too many shots with it, because either you will win the game, or someone will realize how to stop you and focus on doing that. But overall, Soul Conduit is a very fun card, and even on its own, with nothing else, I still recommend it just because it's fun. It just screws with the game mechanic in such a way that you're just playing with things. It's honestly like playing Munchkin, almost. Just, you know, less Cthulhu winning. Sorry, every time I play that game, Cthulhu wins. Even when I don't remember putting the cards in the deck, it's kind of weird. But yeah, that's Soul Conduit. I'm Mike. This was a video, I guess. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's a video. It'd be kind of awkward if it was something else. But yeah, if you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. If there's something you want me to look at, hey, give me a heads up. I really would like to see what you guys want me to look at. And technically, if you girls too, if there's any. According to the mechanics online, there's been none. But yeah, stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video. Later.